I did want to get into what Trump said yesterday. Oh my God, about injecting yourself with home cleaning chemicals, disinfectants. This man is so out of his fucking mind. It's just unbelievable. You know, the New York Times had reported on extensively, as have most media outlets, about Trump pinning his hopes now on the power of sunlight to defeat COVID-19. Yeah, okay. He went back to that theme yesterday at the incredibly insane coronavirus misnamed briefing. And he brought in a science administrator to back up his assertion about treatments involving the use of household disinfectants that would be fatal if put inside your body, as well as the power of sunlight and ultraviolet light. Okay, we know that. Trump acts as though, and it's probably true, that he just discovered that ultraviolet light has an antibacterial component, that sunlight has always been said it's the best disinfectant. Every fucking body knows that. I mean, you learn that when you're, 10 years old? Not Trump. After this administrator, according to the New York Times, a guy named William Bryan, he's the head of science at the Department of Homeland Security. Oh, God. After he told or said during this briefing that Homeland Security had tested how sunlight and disinfectants, including bleach, can kill the coronavirus on surfaces in as little as 30 seconds, which is true. I mean, Jesus Christ, don't we all know this? Don't you have a canister of, Clorox surface wipes? Of course. That viruses on surfaces can be killed by this with this stuff in as little as 30 seconds. Well, Trump was just so excited to hear that he couldn't wait to get back to the lectern. And he said, quote, "Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but we're going to test it." He turned to Brian, who had returned to his seat. "And then I said, supposing," this is Trump, "supposing you brought the light inside the body, either through the skin or some other way," end quote. Some other way? Down your throat? Up your ass? What are you talking about, you psychopath? And then, reassured by the medical people standing around him, and a curse on those people, except Fauci, especially this Deborah Birx. Oh my God, was I right about her? But then, apparently reassured that the tests he was proposing would take place, Trump then got into his crazed fucking head about the possible medical benefits of disinfectants in the fight against the virus. He said this, quote, "And then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute. 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by, injecting inside or almost a cleaning? Because, you see, it gets in the lungs and it does a tremendous number on the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that." End quote. Jesus Christ. Now, you learned, didn't you, when you were very young, that ultraviolet lamps can harm humans if they're used improperly? That's when the exposure is outside the body, much less inside. And the link between ultraviolet light and skin cancer It is a given. It's well established. And then you have bleach and other disinfectants may kill microbes on surfaces, but they also kill humans if swallowed, or even if the fumes are too powerful. I have a tremendous late life development of allergies to some of these disinfectants. I cannot stand to be in the same room where bleach is being used. There are very few household chemicals that I can tolerate longer than 10 or 15 seconds. And then either I don't use them or I have to literally put on a mask before coronavirus to do the cleaning I do around the house. But to swallow? Oh my God. And that's why, Trump, you ignorant savage, that's why bottles of bleach and other disinfectants carry real, noticeable, and important warnings about the danger of breathing or swallowing this poison, you crazy fucker, you. Oh, my God. And Trump's comments, of course, prompted an eruption of warnings about the dangers of any improvised remedies, right? Home remedies, I guess, are fine, but using poisonous chemicals? I don't think so. Emergency management officials in the state of Washington posted a warning on Twitter. This is what you have to do in the age of Trump. The officials in Washington state wrote, quote, "Please don't eat Tide detergent pods or inject yourself with any kind of disinfectant. Don't make a bad situation worse," end quote. And then the maker of the disinfectants Lysol and Dettol also issued a statement this morning warning against the improper use of their products. The statement said, quote, "As a global leader in health and hygiene products, we must be clear that under no circumstances should our disinfectant products be administered into the human body through injection, ingestion, or any other route," end quote. Jesus Christ. And then this morning, these sick fuckers who have joined Trump in this nest of madness that is the White House. A statement came from the White House from this Kayleigh McEnany, the White House press secretary. She wrote, quote, "President Trump has repeatedly said that Americans should consult with medical doctors regarding coronavirus treatment, a point that he emphasized again during yesterday's briefing. Leave it to the media to irresponsibly take President Trump out of context and run with negative headlines." Negative headlines? Jesus God. Now, at that briefing yesterday, Trump had once again belittled a reporter there who expressed concern that people might, quote, this is a reporter, might think they would be safe by going outside in the heat, considering that so many people are dying in Florida, end quote. You know what Trump said to that? Quote, "I hope people enjoy the sun. And if it has an impact, that's great." End quote. What the fuck? Non sequitur? And this was the part of that so-called coronavirus briefing yesterday that was just horrifying to me. That's when Trump turned to Dr. Birx, who is the White House coronavirus response coordinator. And he asked her if she had heard of the success of sunlight as an effective tool against viruses, and more specifically, the coronavirus. And Dr. Birx, sitting over there at the side, maybe you've seen this little slice of video now that's all over, various platforms. And she's just sitting there with a look on her face that was supposed to imply neutrality And this is what I fault her for. But she said, quote, well, not as a treatment. I mean, certainly fever is a good thing when you have a fever. It helps your body respond, but not as, I have not seen heat or, and then Trump cut her off real quick. I think that's a great thing to look at. I mean, okay? End quote. Now, my question, of course, is why didn't Dr. Birx in that moment jump up or get up slowly, walk to that lectern, knowing full well that what she was about to say was going to cost her her position with this Trump madman. And why didn't she go to the lectern and say, excuse me, Mr. President, and then address, being polite, and then address the assembled press and just say what Donald Trump just said is utter nonsense. And not only is it nonsense, it's potentially lethal. And not only is it potentially lethal, but if you do this shit, you will fucking die. Thank you, Mr. President. And then go back and sit down. Deborah Birx apparently has become completely ensnared by Trump's sickness. What do they call it? The Stockholm Syndrome. She continues to associate herself with a man who is now responsible for tens of thousands of deaths in this country and wants to have more. Jesus Christ! If Dr. Birx had respect for her oath, the Hippocratic Oath, first, do no harm. Isn't that how it begins? If she had any respect for her degree, for her experience, for the Hippocratic Oath, for the lives of American people, she would have never taken the job to begin with. Maybe she took the job because she thought she could do some good. But at this point, she should get the fuck out of there. Dr. Birx, first, do no harm.
Hi, Truth Seekers. Kathy Malloy here. During this global crisis, take care of yourselves and your family. Maybe catch up on your Malloy cast. We are 100% Truth Seeker supported, as you know, and over the last year, we've become a lean, mean, two-person broadcasting machine. We've tightened our belts so Mike can keep screaming into the night because we are committed to this fight. We won't surrender the airwaves or our country to the flying monkey fascists as long as you're joining us around the campfire. And by that, I mean supporting this program by funding Resistance Radio on Patreon. Any amount helps keep it lit and keep the lights on in the Malloy home studio. Patron supporters will have exclusive access to a special patron-only weekly broadcast, which will likely include me and possibly Molly. We also have some nice thank you gifts like an exclusive patron Truth Seeker t-shirt. Visit MikeMalloy.com and click on the big patron link on the main page. You can't miss it, and we can't do it without you.